There are moments in life when your silence will speak louder than any argument, louder than any comeback, louder than any need to defend yourself. Somebody disrespected you, somebody tried to pull you down, and everything in you wants to react, to prove a point, to show them who you are. But let me tell you something. God is your defender. God is your vindicator. And when you learn to stay quiet after disrespect, you're not showing weakness, you're showing wisdom. Silence is one of the most powerful responses you can give in the face of disrespect. It is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of incredible strength. When someone disrespects you, your immediate instinct may be to defend yourself, to clap back, or to make sure they understand they can't treat you that way. But true power lies in restraint. True confidence is knowing that you don't have to address every insult, every slight, or every ignorant comment. The ability to remain silent in the face of disrespect requires a level of self-control that few people have, but those who do operate on a different level of wisdom and maturity. The world teaches us to react. Social media thrives on it. We live in a culture where people are quick to fire back, quick to expose, quick to retaliate. But when you engage in that cycle, you give your energy away. You allow someone else's negativity to pull you down to their level. A person who cannot hold their tongue is a person who lacks control over their own emotions. And if your emotions are easily manipulated by the words and actions of others, then you are not truly free. When you respond impulsively, you give the other person exactly what they wanted, your attention, your reaction, and your energy. But when you stay quiet, you rob them of that power. It takes an incredible amount of discipline to remain silent when someone disrespects you. It is easy to react, but it is difficult to stay still. And this is where strength is revealed. Strength is not found in loudness. Strength is found in composure. When you refuse to react, you show that you are operating from a place of self-mastery rather than emotional instability. This doesn't mean you ignore disrespect or allow people to mistreat you, but it does mean that you choose how to respond with wisdom rather than impulse. Your silence forces people to sit with what they have done. It creates a void where they expect chaos, and that void is far more powerful than words. When you do not engage, you leave them to wrestle with their own actions, their own words, and their own conscience. Many times, people who disrespect others are looking for a reaction. They want to see if they can provoke you, if they can make you lose control. But when you stay quiet, you deny them that satisfaction. You maintain your power instead of handing it over to them. Some of the strongest people in history have understood the power of silence. Jesus himself, when accused and mocked, remained silent before his accusers. He did not feel the need to justify himself, to argue his case, or to prove anything to those who had already made up their minds. That silence was not weakness, it was the ultimate display of strength. It showed that his identity, his purpose, and his authority did not depend on the approval or understanding of others. And the same is true for you. Your value is not determined by the opinions of others, nor does it decrease because someone fails to recognize it. When you stay silent in the face of disrespect, you shift the dynamic of the situation. You make it clear that you are not easily shaken. You show that your peace cannot be disturbed by petty words or meaningless arguments. This is a position of power. And over time, you will find that people who try to provoke you will eventually stop when they realize they cannot control you. When you are unbothered, untouchable, and unwilling to engage in foolishness, you elevate yourself above it. You are no longer operating at the level of those who thrive on conflict and negativity. Instead, you are rising above, refusing to be pulled into battles that are beneath you. Your ability to remain silent is a reflection of your confidence in who you are. People who know their worth do not feel the need to prove it. They do not waste time trying to convince others to respect them. Instead, they carry themselves in a way that commands respect without a single word. The most powerful people are not the ones who talk the loudest or argue the best. They are the ones who move with a quiet confidence that cannot be shaken. There is a peace that comes with knowing you don't have to fight every battle. There is a power in knowing that not every action requires a reaction. When you understand this, you move differently. You stop being controlled by your emotions. You stop allowing the words of others to dictate your peace. You stop responding to things that are beneath you because you realize that silence is not a lack of response. It is the most powerful response of all. When you face disrespect, the natural instinct is to fight back, defend yourself, and make sure the other person knows they cannot treat you that way. But there is something much greater at work beyond what you can see in the moment. When you belong to God, you do not have to be your own defender. God Himself steps in on your behalf, and when He fights for you, there is nothing anyone can do to stop His justice. There are moments when staying silent is not about weakness, but about trust. Trusting that God sees what was done to you. Trusting that He knows the truth even when others twist it. Trusting that He is already working things out in ways you could never orchestrate on your own. When you try to handle disrespect in your own strength, you may get temporary satisfaction, but you will never get the kind of resolution that only God can bring. God sees the battles that people don't see. He hears the conversations that never reach your ears. He knows the motives behind people's actions, even when they pretend to have good intentions. And because He sees and knows all, He is the best defender you could ever have. The problem comes when we don't believe that God will handle it, so we take matters into our own hands. We feel like we have to say something, prove something, or fight to protect our reputation. But God has a way of exposing lies, handling disrespect, and lifting you up in front of the very people who tried to tear you down. There is something powerful about letting Him work instead of reacting in your emotions. When you respond with silence and trust in God, you are not ignoring the situation. You are giving it to the one who can deal with it better than you ever could. Think about the moments in your life when you tried to defend yourself and it only made things worse. Maybe you spoke out of anger and regretted it later. Maybe you got caught up in a back and forth that drained you emotionally. Maybe you tried to prove a point to someone who was never going to change their mind anyway. That is what happens when you take control instead of letting God handle it. But when you remain still and let Him fight for you, He brings justice in ways that leave no question about who was really in the right. Sometimes God allows disrespect to test your character. He wants to see if you trust Him enough to stay silent, if you believe in His ability to fight your battles, if you can have enough self-control to not let someone else's actions dictate your response. The enemy wants you to react because reaction pulls you out of alignment with God's plan. Reaction puts you in a place of emotional chaos instead of peace. But when you stay quiet, you allow God to move on your behalf. And when He moves, things shift in ways that no argument, no confrontation, and no defense of your own could ever accomplish. The Bible says in Exodus 14:14, the Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. That means there is a greater power working for you. And your stillness is not inaction. It is faith in action. Faith that God is handling things behind the scenes. Faith that what was done to you will not go unnoticed by Him. Faith that even when you feel like you have to speak up to defend yourself, He is already speaking on your behalf in ways you cannot see. People who disrespect you want to pull you into their storm. But when you trust God as your defender, you remain in peace while they are left in the chaos they created. They expect a reaction, but when you don't give them one, they are left with nothing to fuel their fire. And while they are busy trying to stir up confusion, God is preparing a table for you in the presence of your enemies. He is setting things up so that in due time, those who disrespected you will have no choice but to witness how He elevates you despite their actions. When you fully embrace that God is your defender, you no longer feel the need to prove yourself. You no longer waste time and energy on people who do not deserve access to your peace. You no longer engage in battles that are already won. Trusting God in these moments is not easy, but it is necessary. It requires discipline, maturity, and a deep understanding that your value does not decrease just because someone else fails to see it. When you know who you are in God, you don't have to fight for your place. He will position you exactly where you need to be, and no amount of disrespect can stop His plan for your life. Your energy is one of the most valuable resources you have. It determines your focus, your productivity, your emotional state, and ultimately the quality of your life. Every day you make choices about where to direct your energy, what you give your time, attention, and emotions to. But not everything is worthy of your energy. Not every battle deserves your response. Not every disrespectful remark requires your reaction. If you spend your energy on meaningless conflicts, you will have nothing left for what truly matters. Disrespect is a trap designed to pull you into a cycle of reaction. When someone says something offensive, belittles you, or tries to undermine your worth, they are looking for a reaction. If you engage, you give them exactly what they want, your energy. And once they have your energy, they have control. They dictate how you feel, how you respond, and where your focus goes. But when you stay quiet, you refuse to hand over your power. You make a choice to protect your energy rather than waste it on battles that do not serve you. Every time you react to disrespect, you are making an exchange. You are trading your peace for momentary satisfaction. You are giving away emotional energy that could be used to build, create, and elevate. You are stepping into someone else's chaos instead of remaining in your own peace. And the truth is, some people thrive on chaos. They live for drama. They get a sense of control from knowing they can provoke you. But when you refuse to react, you starve them of the fuel they need to keep their negativity alive. Protecting your energy is not just about ignoring negativity. It is about prioritizing what truly matters. There are goals you are working toward, dreams you are building, and relationships that deserve your attention. But if you are constantly distracted by unnecessary conflicts, your energy becomes fragmented. You cannot focus on growth when you are caught up in arguments that lead nowhere. You cannot elevate when you are weighed down by the need to prove yourself to people who do not even deserve access to you. One of the greatest skills you can develop is learning when to walk away. Not because you are weak, not because you are afraid, but because you understand the value of your energy. People who are secure in themselves do not waste time trying to correct every insult or respond to every act of disrespect. They know that their energy is better spent on things that align with their purpose. They understand that every reaction is a choice, and they choose peace over pointless conflict. When you protect your energy, you move differently. You stop explaining yourself to people who have already made up their minds about you. You stop getting caught up in petty arguments that lead nowhere. You stop allowing negativity to pull you away from the path God has set for you. Instead, you remain focused, centered, and unbothered. This is not detachment, it is wisdom. It is knowing that your energy is too precious to be spent on things that do not serve your higher purpose. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some people are only in your life to drain you, distract you, and keep you from moving forward. They come with negativity, drama, and toxicity, hoping to pull you into their storm. But you are not meant to live in their storm. You are meant to remain in your peace. The moment you understand this, you stop responding to things that are beneath you. You stop letting every little insult shake you. You stop allowing disrespect to disrupt your focus. Instead, you stay locked in on what truly matters, conserving your energy for the things that bring growth, fulfillment, and purpose. The people who go the furthest in life are not the ones who engage in every battle, but the ones who know when to stay silent. They understand that silence is not a lack of power. It is the ultimate display of control. When you refuse to react to disrespect, you are showing that your energy is too valuable to be wasted. You are proving that your peace is more important than your pride. You are making a statement that nothing and no one has the power to pull you away from what truly matters. Your silence carries a weight that words often cannot match. In a world where people rush to defend themselves, argue their point, and prove their worth, silence is a language of its own. When someone disrespects you, they expect a reaction. They expect you to defend yourself, to argue, to fight back. But when you choose to stay quiet, you disrupt that expectation. You create a space that forces the other person to sit with their own action. Your silence speaks louder than any argument, and it demands a level of respect that words often fail to command. People often associate silence with weakness, but the truth is, silence is one of the most powerful responses you can give. It shows that you are not controlled by your emotions. It shows that you are secure enough in yourself to not need validation from others. It shows that you do not have to fight every battle to prove your worth. When you stay quiet after disrespect, you are making a statement without saying a word. You are showing that you are above the pettiness, that you refuse to be dragged into meaningless conflicts, and that you have enough confidence in yourself to let actions speak louder than words. When you remain silent in the face of disrespect, it unsettles people. They expect you to lash out, to get emotional, to engage in the same level of negativity they are operating in. But when you refuse to react, they are left to deal with their own behavior. They start questioning themselves. They start wondering why their words or actions had no effect on you. And in that silence, they are confronted with the reality of their own acts. Sometimes the most powerful way to make someone realize their mistake is not by telling them they were wrong, but by refusing to give their words any power over you. Your silence also protects your peace. The moment you engage in an argument, you invite stress, frustration, and emotional exhaustion into your space. You may win the argument, but at what cost? You may prove your point, but will it truly change anything? Most people who disrespect you are not interested in understanding you. They are not looking for truth. They are looking to provoke a reaction. They are looking to bring you down to their level. But when you choose silence, you keep your peace intact. You refuse to allow someone else's negativity to disrupt your emotional and spiritual well-being. There is also wisdom in knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. Silence does not mean you tolerate disrespect or allow people to walk over you. It means you are strategic in how you respond. Not every situation requires a response. Not every insult deserves your attention. There is power in knowing when your words will make a difference and when they will be wasted. Sometimes the best response, sometimes the best way to handle disrespect is to show that it does not affect you. People who command the most respect are often the ones who do not feel the need to explain themselves. They do not react impulsively. They do not get caught up in unnecessary drama. They move with quiet confidence, knowing that their value is not defined by the opinions of others. Their silence is not passive, it is intentional. It sends a message that they do not engage in foolishness, that they do not waste energy on meaningless battles, and that they are secure enough in themselves to walk away from anything that does not align with their peace. Silence is also a tool of emotional intelligence. It allows you to observe rather than react. When you stay quiet, you can see things more clearly. You can assess the situation with a calm mind. You can determine whether responding will bring resolution or simply fuel more conflict. Many people regret the things they say in the heat of the moment, but no one regrets staying quiet and choosing peace. By holding your tongue, you give yourself the time and space to decide how to move forward with wisdom rather than emotion. Choosing silence in the face of disrespect does not mean you are weak. It means you are wise. It means you understand that your energy is too valuable to waste. It means you know that your peace is worth more than proving a point. It means you refuse to give anyone the satisfaction of seeing you lose control. It means you walk in confidence, knowing that your actions, your presence, and your peace are more powerful than any word spoken against you. Self-control is one of the greatest strengths a person can have. It separates those who react impulsively from those who move with wisdom. It distinguishes the emotionally mature from the easily provoked. When you are disrespected, the natural urge is to react, to defend yourself, to make it clear that you will not tolerate such behavior. But true strength is found in restraint. It takes far more power to hold back than to lash out. When you practice self-control, you show that you are in command of your emotions, not the other way around. Disrespect is often a test. It reveals more about the person delivering it than the one receiving it. Some people intentionally push buttons, hoping to get a rise out of you. They want to see you lose your composure because in that moment, they feel they have power over you. But when you remain composed, when you refuse to react, you strip them of that power. You show them that no matter what they say or do, they do not have the ability to control your emotion. That kind of self-discipline makes you untouchable. There is a reason why the Bible emphasizes self-control as a fruit of the Spirit. It is not just about resisting temptation or making wise choices. It is about mastering yourself in all situations. When you have self-control, you do not let anger dictate your response. You do not let frustration drive your actions. You do not allow other people's negativity to pull you out of character. Instead, you remain steady, grounded, and in control of your own spirit. That is a sign of true strength. Many people equate loudness with power. They believe that the person who speaks the loudest, argues the most, or dominates a conversation is the strongest. But real power is often quiet. It does not need to announce itself. It does not need to prove anything. It simply is. The strongest people in any room are often the ones who observe more than they speak. They do not waste words on those who are not willing to listen. They do not engage in meaningless conflicts. They conserve their energy for things that truly matter. Self-control allows you to move with intentionality. When you respond to disrespect out of anger, you often say things you regret. You act in ways that do not align with your true character. But when you exercise self-control, you take a step back. You assess the situation. You decide whether responding will bring resolution or simply add fuel to the fire. You choose your battles wisely, understanding that not every insult is worth your time. There is incredible power in pausing before you respond. That pause gives you a moment to think. It gives you the chance to decide whether engaging is worth it. It prevents you from saying something you might later wish you could take back. It gives you control over the situation instead of allowing the situation to control you. That kind of discipline is what sets strong individuals apart from the easily shaken. When you practice self-control, you do not let temporary emotions dictate permanent actions. You do not allow the heat of the moment to determine your future. You understand that every response carries weight, and you choose to carry yourself with wisdom and dignity. You recognize that your energy is better spent on growth, peace, and purpose rather than on conflicts that lead nowhere. Some of the most powerful moments in life are the ones where you choose not to react. When you refuse to engage in a senseless argument, when you hold your tongue instead of retaliating, when you walk away instead of proving a point, these are the moments that shape your character. They strengthen your ability to remain in control of yourself, regardless of what is happening around you. They give you the upper hand because they show that no one has the power to disrupt your peace. It takes maturity to master self-control. It requires patience, wisdom, and a deep sense of confidence in who you are. It means understanding that your value is not determined by someone else's opinion of you. It means knowing that your dignity is not diminished just because someone else fails to see it. It means choosing to rise above negativity rather than getting pulled into it. When you have self-control, you are not easily shaken. You move with purpose, protect your peace, and carry yourself in a way that commands respect without demanding it. When you stay quiet after being disrespected, you are choosing wisdom over impulse. It is easy to react in the heat of the moment, to let your emotions take over, and to say things you might later regret. But choosing silence is not weakness, it is strategy. It is understanding that not every battle is worth fighting, and not every person deserves access to your energy. Some people provoke you not because they seek truth or resolution, but because they want to pull you into a space of negativity. They want to control your emotions, dictate your mood, and make you feel as unsettled as they are. When you do not give them that satisfaction, you maintain control over yourself. Wisdom teaches you to discern when to speak and when to be silent. It allows you to see past the immediate moment and consider the long-term consequences of your response. When you stay quiet, you give yourself time to think, to assess the situation, and to respond in a way that aligns with your values. Reacting out of anger may feel justified in the moment, but it often leads to regret. Wisdom tells you to step back, to evaluate whether engaging will bring resolution or simply fuel more conflict. People who walk in wisdom understand that their words carry weight. They do not waste them on people who are not listening. They do not engage in arguments that lead nowhere. They understand that their energy is better spent on growth, on peace, and on things that truly matter. When you stay quiet after disrespect, you are making a powerful statement that you will not be dragged down to a lower level. You are choosing to rise above, to protect your peace, and to move forward without allowing negativity to take root in your heart. Staying quiet does not mean tolerating disrespect. It means responding with discernment rather than emotion. There's a difference between letting something go and allowing it to continue. Wisdom allows you to address situations in a way that does not compromise your integrity. Sometimes the best way to shut down disrespect is not through words, but through actions. When you refuse to engage, when you set boundaries through silence, you make it clear that you are not someone who can be easily shaken. Your silence can be more powerful than any argument. It forces people to sit with their own words. When you do not react, they are left with the weight of their own disrespect. They are forced to confront themselves instead of engaging in a battle with you. Some people thrive on conflict. They look for reactions, for drama, for anything that will keep them in a cycle of negativity. When you refuse to participate, you break that cycle. You show them that their words have no power over you, that your peace is more important than proving a point. There is strength in restraint. It takes more self-discipline to remain silent than to lash out. It takes confidence to know that you do not need to prove yourself to anyone. It takes wisdom to recognize that your energy is too valuable to waste on meaningless conflicts. People who are truly secure in themselves do not feel the need to respond to every insult. They do not let the opinions of others define them. They know who they are, and that knowledge gives them the freedom to walk away from anything that does not serve their purpose. When you stay quiet after disrespect, you gain clarity. You give yourself the space to decide how to move forward. Some situations require direct confrontation, but not all of them do. When you take a step back, you can see things more clearly. You can determine whether the situation deserves your attention or whether it is best to let it go. Clarity comes when emotions settle, when you are not reacting but responding with intention. Wisdom also teaches you that silence is a form of protection. Not everyone deserves to hear your thoughts, your feelings, or your perspective. Some people only want to twist your words, to use them against you, to manipulate you into a conflict that serves their own agenda. When you stay quiet, you protect yourself from unnecessary drama. You keep your peace intact. You show that your strength does not come from how loud you are, but from how unshakable you remain in the face of adversity. People will try to test you. They will push your boundaries, hoping to get a reaction. But when you refuse to engage, you maintain control over yourself. You show that their words have no power over you. You walk away with your dignity intact, knowing that true strength is not found in retaliation, but in self-restraint. When you stay quiet after disrespect, you are choosing wisdom over impulse, peace over conflict, and self-respect over temporary satisfaction.